What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it. That was some good candy. I gotta lay off the candy. Gotta keep my summer body going. Now, anyway, back to what I was talking about. Hell, I ain't even started to talk yet. Let's talk Tupac. Nothing but thug life, baby. And my little thug of law. My little homie rah rah. Now, the thug life thing that before Pac really got going into that, a lot of people don't know. A lot of things were transpiring behind the scenes. When Tupac dropped his second album, Strictly for My Niggas, when that was out, they were on the top of the playing field, meaning that they were, Pac can do no wrong. He had Keep Your Head Up. Interscope loved Tupac. See, back in the day, and not today's time, controversy wasn't a good thing. Controversy is what controversy is like what killed artists during that time. So what I'm trying to say is, during this point, Tupac had become hard to deal with. They had marketing plans, different schemes that they wanted to use when it came towards Tupac Shakur. They were like, we got to do something different with Pac. We gonna put him in this whole different environment now. We can have him on some records with some R&B stars and really get behind them and build up our R&B label. And Interscope was loving it. And then he had the Thug Life out. Now, due to the success of Strictly for My Niggas, they were okay with doing this Thug Life album that Tupac wanted to do. Distributed on Interscope Records, his Thug Life album with his group. They were like, okay, sure, it's got Tupac in it. That's great. You know, put your hardcore stuff here with the Thug Life group. And then, you know, under your name, we can get back to making some introspective type of music. You know, like you don't want to destroy what you created here. So while working on that album with Thug Life, he basically torpedoed the album that he was coming out with when he was doing Strictly for My Niggas. He had some leftover songs from that he didn't even put on the album. He had did so many songs. And he had basically a double CD. He had like 30, 40 songs left. But he ended up having all this legal trouble. Where he had Out on Bail, he had a whole bunch of songs that ended up became the Are You Still? Because Are You Still Down became Are You Still Down became like the signature. Are you still down? That was like the big signature song there, Are You Still Down? And the album was really supposed to be called Thug Style, which the song is on it. And then they ended up scrapping that with all the legal trouble, and they said, "Look, let's make a Thug Life album, and you could put all those records over there." So they had the Out the Gutter label, and then he had his little tag there, and Interscope was gonna run it, and you could put all your hardcore stuff over there. You could do your introspective stuff under Tupac, Don't Ruin Your Brand. But then all these court cases start coming, and the rape case came, and that just torpedoed everything. So the Me Against the World album, which had Dear Mama and all these other things, this is why he basically remade the Me Against the World album and made that album, which was a completely introspective album all the way through. A lot of radio favorite songs that you could play, showed them in a different image so that people would see him differently from the artwork of the photographs, and you saw a whole different Tupac that you've never seen before. So anyway, with this going on, all of this development and transactions was happening, the case comes and he ends up going to jail. They just separated themselves, Interscope did, from Tupac. Even though he got videos out and everybody was jumping in his video, from Ice-T to Salt and Pepper, everybody was helping Pac out with his videos. Now, when that was done, it was a whole different era. Because only one or two guys was really interested in getting behind him at this time. And that was, who was that? Who wanted to really get behind him? That was Priority Records, Brian Turner. That's who it was. It was Brian Turner from Priority Records. They really believed in Tupac. They wanted to get behind him, and they thought this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Like, these guys are idiots. They're not gonna get behind a guy like this. Even though he was behind bars, they wanted to see how stupid Interscope was. They wanted to test the waters. They were like, okay, are they serious right now? So Brian Turner reached out, and his team trying to see, was this real? Are they really gonna give up on Tupac Shakur? Because that's the way it appeared to be. So they wanted to make a deal and acquire Tupac. That's logical. Because anybody in their right mind would want to acquire Tupac. But Ted Fields at that time, who was transitioning more into the movie uh, side of the business than anything else, he really wasn't trying to hear it. He wasn't like, nah, priority, nah. So they trying to send anybody that could talk to Tupac, with Snoop and everybody else who was on the label, Ice Cube. You guys know him, try to reel him in. Because during this time, Priority had lost Ruthless Records. So they no longer had NWA. They had the old stuff, but they didn't have Easy E no more. They didn't have Ren, but they didn't need him no more at that time. They had Mac 10, Ice Cube, and that was like who they built around. We had Cube, we got West Side Connection coming. You know, they had all these things in development. So they had all these other artists that was on the label that they really didn't need Easy E and them no more. Easy them just helped open the door for them to come in and do what they wanted to do. So Tupac's manager at the time, his longtime manager, was reached by Priority Records to try to hammer out a deal or try to get them on board to what Tupac would be accepted to. And you know, they was like, it's basically gonna come down to Ted Fields. If Ted's gonna release Tupac, then if you guys can negotiate that, you know, business wise, what you guys are offering made more sense. Pac would have had more creative freedom with Priority, and he worked right along with the creative department on his what he wanted to do as far as his direction. He wanted to build a new label, and he wanted to shut down the label that he had and make it defunct so he wouldn't have to pay out certain artists that was on the label. He wanted to disassociate himself completely with the people that he was with. That was going to be in effect. Uh, Ted also was going to make some other changes. I'm getting all these alerts coming through my PC. But Ted was not willing to let Tupac Shakur go. He wasn't going to do anything with him, but he just didn't want to let him go. His thing is, if other people want Tupac, why am I going to let him go? Because Russell Simmons even tried to poke around and find out what's going on with Tupac Shakur. You know, like, we got to find out what's going on with Pac. Why is everybody, you know, is there something here we might need to look at? So Suge wasn't Pac's only option. Pac had other deals on the table. It was a lot of other record companies that was trying to work out a way to work with Interscope to acquire getting Tupac because he had the ability to make hit records. So Me Against the World just proved and solidified that this guy's a pure talent. We need to keep this guy, but Interscope and Ted Fields really didn't believe that Tupac could facilitate staying out of jail long enough to make a profit on what they considered, like Me Against the World should have been 3 billion records out the gate. It was on its way to doing so if he hadn't got locked up. It was just a real bad time. And he went through all his money. You know, he was completely broke with all the lawyers and the fees, and he just paid everything, and he was completely like out of money. He couldn't. He was just bankrupt. All he had left was his star power. They just broke him down to nothing. Broke him. So now he has nothing, and all of these legal fees kept piling on. But Interscope, Ted Fields was blowing him off while he was locked up. They wouldn't really return his calls. His manager's working on all these deals, and he's talking about the appeal case is coming, and just Pac wanted out. And he was just like, look, Suge say he can get me out like now. And that's all he wanted to hear. Somebody getting him out of jail. He could not stand Clinton Correctional Facility. So he wanted out. And that was more important to him than anything, was just getting out of there. And that's why he took the Suge deal, even though he knew it was a bad deal. And it was cutting his manager out, because his manager was the one. Suge had to be in the management position. That was the only way it was going to work. So his manager, longtime manager, had to get cut out. And that was sad. But his manager was against them going to death row because he didn't see a good outcome in that scenario, especially with Suge being his manager. He didn't see that being a good outcome for Pac. And he always had Pac's best interest in mind, you know. So with that being said, we are done. That's it. I mean, he didn't take the deal, but Suge wasn't his only option. He just did not want to wait no more. So I'm out. Don't forget to donate to the page. Hit the what's that, the Cash App, or you can click the link in the description box below and hit the donate button and donate to the page. I'm out.